A doctor approaches a patient on life support and injects him with a syringe. Blood starts to shoot from the patient's wounds and he begins to convulse. Medical personnel try to resuscitate him, but he ultimately flatlines. Epidemiologist Dr. Anna Fedorova writes a resignation letter, expressing her guilt over the demise of her colleague and patient, Dr. Zotov. While working on the MX-23 vaccine, she approved it for human trials despite no preliminary testing. Zotov volunteered to test it on himself, which resulted in his demise. Guilty, she concludes that all research needs to be revised, therefore she plans to shut down the research temporarily. Colonel Yuri Morozov discourages her from resigning, but Anna refuses to continue with the research because of the limited time to revise the vaccine. Still, he advises her to do a quick fix to meet the deadline so they can distribute it to their soldiers in Africa. He promises that she won't be charged for Zotov's death, and that his family will be taken care of. Morozov surmises that if she shuts down the research, Zotov would have died for nothing. The colonel believes that the ends justify the means, so her success will justify everything. Months later, at a New Year's Eve party, Anna's friends congratulate her for successfully making the vaccine. She soon receives a call from Morozov, who wants to recruit her for a mission regarding an incident in the secret research facility Kola Superdeep. The facility is in a borehole 12,000 meters below the surface. 20 people are reportedly missing, and she's tasked to retrieve samples of an unknown disease that the head scientist, Dr. Dmitry Grigoriev, might be hiding before the facility is shut down in 24 hours. Anna is apprehensive at first, and asks the colonel how much the end justifies the means this time. He promises that she'll take all the credit for the discovery and will be in charge of the Military Biological Defense Institute. This convinced her to join the mission. Hours later, Anna and the colonel board a helicopter to Murmansk with a group of soldiers led by Major Sergei Mihiv. When they land, a man in a lab coat wanders around and approaches their vehicle. The soldiers warn him to stand down, but he keeps approaching. With no choice, the soldiers shoot the man down. Still, the man gets up, much to everyone's confusion. He takes a grenade from his coat and pulls the pin. The blast shatters the helicopter's windows with shards flying across Anna's face. Minutes later, Anna wakes up to a ringing in her ear. Sergei helps her up just as the rest recover. She exits the helicopter and examines the man's body. She places samples from his body into test tubes and watches them turn white inside the tube. Lieutenant Colonel Terabukin approaches and reports that the man was a scientist from the lower levels of the facility. He traveled to the surface and was out of control. He stole a grenade and fought off 3 people who attempted to hold him down. He then reveals that the rest of the facility's staff are being evacuated, but Anna demands that they get tested before they leave. While testing the staff members, one man warns the doctor to leave because what they found in the lower levels isn't a disease but hell. The team is then escorted by the deputy head of research, Peter Kuznetsov, to meet Dr. Grigoriev. On the way to the surface elevator, Anna tries to interrogate Grigoriev, but he refuses to betray the Hippocratic Oath. However, he promises to help get what they need in exchange for the safe evacuation of all survivors. Anna confronts him about locking up his staff there in the first place, so Grigoriev admits that it wasn't an easy decision. In the elevator down, the team notices a rapid drop in temperature. Peter explains that it's because of the wide layer of permafrost they're passing through. Moments later, Grigoriev exclaims that the reverse brakes are out. He unbuckles himself, pushes buttons on the control panel, and puts on an oxygen mask while the others pass out from the rapid increase in pressure. The elevator arrives, and with the others unconscious, Grigoriev takes the keycard from the elevator and leaves. When everyone else wakes up, they discover that Grigoriev depressurized the elevator and took the keycard, making it useless. The team enters the first-level facility called the Resort, where the staff lived. While searching the floor, they find Dr. Kira and engineer Nikolai, who are waiting to be evacuated. Anna orders them to be tested, but the engineer refuses, tired of being stuck down there. The soldiers apprehend him, and Kira begs him to calm down and do as he's told. Soon, Anna confirms that their blood tests are clean, while the soldiers confirm that the rest of the floor is empty. Anna worries that Grigoriev planned for them to be trapped there where there's no one infected. However, Yuri assures her that they have it under control. When he leaves, Grigoriev suddenly appears from the elevator to order Anna to take everyone back to the surface while they still can. He insists that people should always be a priority. However, Anna alerts the soldiers who shoot him. Still, Grigoriev closes the elevator and makes his way down. The colonel orders Nikolai to open the elevator doors to follow him, but he reveals that it's programmed to reach the lower level first before coming back up. With this in mind, the major tells the soldiers to go down the shaft to intercept Grigoriev. As Nikolai cuts through the shaft doors, they notice phrases reading "Help us," "Deliver us from evil," and "Insatiable hunger" etched on them. Despite this, Egorov and 5 soldiers prepare protective gear to withstand the 200 degrees Celsius temperature of the lower facility called Sahara. Before they can open it, someone from the other side opens it and a disheveled woman approaches them. While Egorov's team heads down the shaft, the others take the woman to the infirmary, where Peter identifies the woman as Olga Kirlova, a lab assistant in Sahara. Anna wonders how she walked from Sahara to resort without protective gear. Kira assists Anna as she examines Olga and notes the woman's high-grade fever. Olga looks traumatized and claims she doesn't remember what happened in Sahara or how she made it to the resort without a suit. Anna unties Olga's hospital gown, revealing a mold-like infection on her back. The doctor asks if she feels anything and she says she feels that there's something wrong with her, but it doesn't hurt. Anna takes a sample from the growth and Kira claims that it wasn't there 15 minutes ago. Viewing it under the microscope, Anna sees a green, rapidly spreading mold. She's bewildered at the organism and suspects that it might be a parasitic, highly virulent mold. Meanwhile, Egorov reports via radio that they see an unidentified sign of life, promising to report more in 10 minutes once they've investigated. The doctors then try to prepare Olga for transport but find her collapsed on the floor. She writhes in discomfort as a bright orange glow emanates from her skin, and her eyes leak brown liquid. Knowing they can't carry her alone, Anna goes to help while Kira keeps an eye on her. By the elevator, Sergei tries to contact Egorov, but he stopped responding. Kira watches Olga from outside the observation room and sees her fingers snapping in different directions. Olga then bangs on the glass, making Kira knock over a syringe that breaks on the floor, unnoticed. Suddenly, Grigoriev announces over the intercom that because they didn't leave as he said, he'll blow up the descending shaft. He asks for forgiveness but mentions that some are guilty of worse things. With that, Anna hears a beeping from another room. As she steps inside, she sees an apparition of Zotov in a hospital bed. He approaches her and Anna closes her eyes. Still, when she opens them, she finds Zotov standing before her. A loud blast shakes the facility and Anna falls back. Nikolai soon finds her and helps her up, allowing her to regroup with the rest. Nikolai explains the explosion damaged the pressure pump so everything may collapse in 1 hour. Sergei sees the airlock is intact and plans on saving his men, but Nikolai taunts him for being afraid of his soldiers encountering the 60-year-old doctor. This leads to Sergei beating him up until the colonel intervenes. He orders the major and the rest to head up the elevator once Nikolai fixes it, leaving Sergei's men behind. Anna and Sergei return to the infirmary to retrieve the samples but find the infirmary covered in gray mold. On the floor, they find Olga's melted yet still living body. Anna dons gloves and covers her nose and mouth to take samples. However, when she and Sergei approach Olga, the growth on her back releases spores directly into the major's face. Anna then warns the others to keep the doors closed to prevent the infection from spreading. She then hurries into the observation room to retrieve a mask just as the spores cover the room. Behind her, Anna hears Kira mumbling about her symptoms, including being unable to control her body. She steps forward, allowing Anna to see her chest cavity open like a mouth. Frantically, Anna pushes Kira and runs. While feeling around the area, Anna falls into a hole where she sees another apparition of Zotov, reminding her that there's nothing worse than betraying their principles. He then chokes her until she wakes up back in the room. She grabs a fire extinguisher and blows away the spores from the door before Nikolai opens it to let her exit. He then uses the fire extinguisher to decontaminate her. The team regroups, and Anna examines Sergei for infection. She recounts how Kira attacked her after losing control of her body, so Peter likens this to a fungus that forces an ant to spread it throughout its nest. Believing that he'll spread the fungus, Sergei chooses to stay in the facility. As things fall into place, Anna talks to Yuri privately inside a walk-in freezer. She explains that the mold can only survive in warm temperatures, and if a host dies from the cold, so will the mold. It's been unable to reach the surface because of the permafrost, so the mold uses human hosts to reach the surface. She suggests that the best course of action is taking the remaining survivors to the surface and letting the biological defense team handle the eradication. However, Yuri insists that no one will come and the station will be shut down in 5 hours. Still, Anna insists. Guilty over Olga's and Kira's deaths, she notes that they'll still be alive if she acted like a doctor instead of a researcher. Yuri, however, wants to bring Sergei back to Moscow, revealing that they intend to use the disease as a biological weapon. He reiterates that abandoning the mission will have the deaths to be in vain. Anna reminds him that he'll be bringing Sergei right into the nest, yet Yuri still orders her to proceed with it. While preparing for ascent, Sergei receives a transmission from Egorov, telling him they're falling back but are being followed. He tells them to keep the shaft door closed no matter what. Gunshots are heard behind the door, but Sergei wants to rescue his men. 3 soldiers are ordered to find the men. While the others wait, they hear more gunshots until 2 men return, claiming that they encountered something that guns can't stop. The 3rd soldier walks towards the door, missing an arm, and stops outside the entrance where he cuts his throat. While closing the doors, one of the soldiers says that they shouldn't have opened the door because now it knows where they are. From the other side, they hear people's cries and moans, followed by loud banging from something trying to get through. Fearing the doors aren't strong enough, the team runs to the descending elevator. As Nikolai attempts to override the system, Sergei tells Anna he's staying since he can already feel it inside him. The remaining soldiers also choose to stay with him to hold the line and fight the creature. When Nikolai gets the elevator working, he, Anna, Peter, and Yuri ride it down to Sahara. They reach the lobby but find that Grigoriev has already taken the samples from there. On a desk, Peter plays a tape of Grigoriev saying he believes the Ice Age kept the mold from taking over the planet. However, it will now find the borders of the permafrost and break through. The mold controls the host's nervous and musculoskeletal systems, melding the bodies together for warmth and strength. He ends by saying that the only thing left is to go out and see it for the last time before he dies. The team finds a wall covered in melted, mold-infected bodies that died from the cold. They realize that this amalgamation is the 20 missing people. To retrieve the keycard, one of them needs to go on the bridge to Grigoriev's body. Nikolai says all the cooling systems outside the lobby are damaged, so the person will only have a suit, which will take 5 minutes before it melts in the heat. Hearing this, Anna walks towards the door, ready to volunteer. Yuri steps in, finally realizing that Grigoriev was right to keep the mold here. However, as an officer, should he make it to the surface, he won't keep silent. He takes the suit and says the people up there need her more than him. Plus, he knows she won't let him down. While the colonel is gone, Anna asks Nikolai and Peter to promise never to mention the mold to avoid anyone going down there again. When 5 minutes pass, the three realize that one of them has to go next. Before they come to a decision, however, Anna opens the door and locks it behind her. She enters the harsh environment with just a mask on and struggles in the intense heat. She finds Yuri crawling on the bridge, so she tries to drag his body back with her. However, she realizes that he's already dead, so she takes the keycard and walks back to the door. The haze makes it difficult to see, so she removes her mask and looks at an imposing wall of bright orange lifeform. When Anna reaches the door, Nikolai carries her inside. Seeing her suffering through burns, Nikolai attends to the doctor, but Peter aims a gun at them and demands for the keycard. When Nikolai approaches, he shoots him in the leg. Believing that the mold Grigoriev was hiding is amazing, Peter wants to take it for himself. Anna tells him that what she saw is the end of the human race, but he brushes it off. He believes they'll be able to handle it and it'll be his biggest discovery. With no choice, Anna and Nikolai get on the elevator with Peter back to the resort. There, they find the facility damaged and empty. Peter orders Nikolai to go to the surface elevator, but with the engineer's wounded leg, he can't walk. To save Nikolai, Anna walks first with Peter following her with a gun. At the surface elevator, Anna sees a gun and picks it up, but Peter catches her. He poses to shoot when he's attacked by a large, grotesque creature made of melted hosts. The hosts protruding from the creature's body scream in pain as it moves like a single organism. While the creature attacks Peter, Anna runs and hides behind a table. The creature follows her, so she rushes into the walk-in freezer, locking herself inside. Recalling how the mold prefers warmth, Anna removes her clothes and pours ice-cold water on her body to lower her temperature. When she exits, she sees the creature still there, but her lower body temperature masks her from it. She sees the keycard hanging from the creature, so she slides under it to take it. Then she sneaks towards the door and closes it, locking the creature inside. Anna gets Nikolai and helps him walk to the surface elevator when the creature bursts through the wall. They make it to the elevator and the doors close just in time before the creature's appendage reaches her. Inside the elevator, they find Sergei melted on the floor. He tells them to keep him away from the surface to save humanity, so Anna tearfully removes the keycard, stopping the elevator. Nikolai wants to survive, so he fights Anna for the keycard and places it back. When she removes it again, Nikolai strangles her. To save her, Sergei forces his arm to move, exposing his bone which he uses to stab Nikolai. As she crawls towards Sergei, Anna's skin glows bright orange, confirming that she's infected. Determined to save humanity, Sergei tells her to crush the elevator, so she kisses him as he takes his last breath. With that, Anna tries to stop the elevator, but the mold controlling her mind and body won't allow her. Soon, the elevator reaches the surface. Men in hazmat suits carry her away and the elevator drops down. Inside a truck, Anna regains control of her body and pretends to faint to steal a grenade. She threatens to pull the pin, forcing them to release her. Outside the van, the soldiers surround her, ordering her to put the grenade down. One man approaches from behind, ready to sedate her. However, she pulls the pin first.